Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon. It's been a beautiful Tuesday morning today. So I'm Priya, I'm a diva, and I also went to school and did some cool stuff. But first and foremost, I'm a diva and I love helping my patients connect the dots between knowing and actually implementing lifestyle practices, which includes eating better, sleeping better, stressing a little less, and moving better each day so that my patients can feel a little healthier and feel more energized. So that's what drives me every day, and that's my purpose, and yeah, so today I'm planning to lead us through a talk on anti-inflammatory eating pattern. So what does that mean? We'll talk about inflammation. There are two types of inflammations. We'll also talk about foods that support your immunity and that reduce inflammation. We'll also look at some of the foods that weaken your immunity and inflammation. So the idea here is your immunity and your inflammation is really related, and there are foods that kind of help you boost your immunity and have less inflammation. We'll come to what are the different types of inflammation. So that's the framework for today's discussion and the time that we have together. So what is inflammation? Is all inflammation not good? What do you think? Okay, okay. Any other ideas? Is all types of inflammation?
It's a defense mechanism, so some things it's protecting you, right?
Yeah, that's right. So inflammation is a natural response to help our body reach a balance, right? So it is a mechanism, as you mentioned, to safeguard your body, to make sure that it reaches to some sort of a mid-level where you can exist, nice and calm and energized. However, as I mentioned before, let's go up. So inflammation is necessary when we get a cut or when we get injured or maybe after surgery. There is this inflammation process that helps get us back to be healthy, right? So when we have an injury, there is this inflammatory response that your body is capable of doing. It's a chain of events that happen, and then you recover. The homeostasis is nothing but it's kind of a balance where our body knows how to thrive and how to live. Now moving ahead, there are two types of inflammation. As you mentioned, the acute inflammation is something where when you get an infection, when your body has gone through some injury or some sort of a trauma, that's the acute inflammation that sets up, and that's your immune system's initial response to help your body to get to a balance. However, the chronic inflammation is something that we don't want to happen. And essentially, chronic inflammation is when the switch of inflammation, when it gets on, when you had an injury or a surgery or any of those things, when it gets on, in chronic inflammation, it won't go off. And why that happens is due to some factors that we will kind of discuss in the next slide. So the causes for acute inflammations, as I mentioned before, are any cuts or injury or infections, any illnesses, anything that kind of disrupts your body's balance. However, chronic infection is usually driven by poor diet, or poor eating pattern, which we will discuss what that means. Poor sleep hygiene, we will touch upon that a little bit today. Your environment around you also caters to the chronic inflammation. Stress and sedentary lifestyle, in the sense, lack of exercise or any sort of physical activity, these are the major drivers of chronic inflammation. So meaning, say something on one of these happens, and if you are not kind of helping your body through better eating pattern, having good night's sleep, restful sleep, and that's why body, you can go back and reflect. You would really want to sleep when you have something that's a major trauma that has happened to your body, and then moving a little bit kind of always helps your body get back to that balance. So basically there are two types of inflammation. We do want acute inflammation, but chronic inflammation is something that we don't want. And chronic inflammation is also the driver for all the lifestyle diseases, including cancer. So ranges from diabetes, cardiovascular disease, some of the autoimmune disorders, many of the metabolic disorders, even dementia, Alzheimer's, all of that. The center part of it, or one of the major influences, is this chronic inflammation. And as I mentioned before, there are factors that kind of make that inflammation not come down. Moving ahead, so how do you optimize your immune system, which really helps with the inflammation? There are actually 4 pillars. The first pillar is eating better, and that's what we will be concentrating most of the time today. The second pillar is sleeping better, giving our body that nice, restful, relaxing sleep. The third one is moving better each day, which means at least making sure that you walk or, do some sort of physical activity. And the fourth one is managing our life stressors. There is no way you can run away from the life stressors, but there are some self-care practices that you can do, which we will cover a little bit today, but not quite a lot. So there are actually 4 pillars. When you invest your time and effort consistently a little bit each day, like 1% better than yesterday, right? So if you attend a kickbox class this morning, you have made something 1% better than yesterday. So really kind of investing a little bit of effort on these 4 pillars: eating, sleeping, managing your stress, and moving a little better. You can actually help your immune system manage the chronic inflammation that we might have in our everyday lives. Any questions so far that I can? Okay. So what is this eating better aspect related to the anti-inflammatory eating pattern? It's, as you see in this picture, it's full of colors, right? Plants, it's basically a plant-focused eating pattern. Having lots of plants in your plate, and the plants have quite a lot of good things like phytonutrients. The bright colors in plants really help with bringing down the inflammation. So basically an anti-inflammatory or immune supporting eating pattern, which is one of the 4 pillars to help your body fight any of those chronic infections or chronic patterns. That's one of the key things that we will go into a little bit today. Basically, again, lack of fruits or vegetables in your plate, having a lot of processed foods, again, sedentary lifestyle. Any of those, modern culture things are those that promote excessive inflammation in your body. If I might ask you to reflect back on what was your first meal that you had this morning. We are all here to grow together. There is, there is no, what do they say, judgment involved or anything like that. But, just curious if any one of you is willing to share what was your first meal of your day. Yeah.
Flourless toast, avocado, and egg.
Good. So you had some avocado to give that creaminess and the color and a lot of good vitamins, and you had egg for protein, and you had a flourless toast.
Water,
Uh-huh.
a little bit of fruit juice,
Uh-huh.
and coffee that has mushroom.
So that was a very intentional breakfast. Thank you for sharing.
So healthy, I guess. I had regular coffee and a slice of banana nut bread.
Yeah, banana, the bread.
And I just had like 2 protein. They were small. Beef. What was those things?
The beef
jerky.
jerky kind of, but it was grass fed, so there was some intention that went there. Thank
I had a
you.
banana and some homemade trail mix.
Hmm.
And some decaf coffee with oat milk.
I had
It tastes like nothing, so I'm not even gonna spend the money on oat milk.
Oatmeal.
Oh, you like that? I love
Well, it
it.
doesn't change the flavor of the coffee, because I don't put any sweetener in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Just, yeah.
Yeah, it's a taste preference. So you had banana for a fruit, trail mix, lot of nuts.
I made it because that way, I just get one salty nut in there and the other ones are unsalted, and I put some dried cherries.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I make it with cashews, pecans, walnuts, pistachios, and the little bit of dried cherry.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, so
that's
make
very,
it-
very
make your own
tasty.
trail mix and make it like this, so there I do.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I had steel cut oatmeal with 2% milk and Manitoba hemp hearts, a tablespoon to add protein,
Mm-hmm.
and golden raisins.
Wow. Okay.
And
Nice.
coffee.
Yeah,
Does not
coffee.
start without coffee.
And coffee does have a lot of good things in
I
it too.
thought I put turmeric drops in the coffee.
Ah, nice. Thank you for sharing.
Oatmeal and blueberries.
Yeah, breakfast in the morning has to be mindlessly simple because mornings are pretty busy, I know, in different ways, in different households for me.
I had one egg and waffle,
Mm-hmm.
a little quarter of a waffle.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in a hurry and I had 1 cup of coffee.
Oh.
No, nothing in it.
Nothing in it. Okay, okay.
I wanted to have a bigger breakfast because I have to go to another class after here.
Oh.
So I won't eat till then. I
Yeah.
still wanted to eat half of a purple sweet potato,
Mm-hmm.
but that was full and I didn't have time.
The time to do it, yeah. So time is something that's of that's gets a little crunchy in the morning. Nice. So having nice satisfying breakfast. I don't know. After breakfast, it's important to feel satisfied. For that matter, any meal, right? It's important to feel satisfied. So all the components of your plate really kind of contributes to keeping your body, healthy and safe. And focusing on the plants, including avocados, veggies, fruits, banana, coffee too. Coffee also has a lot of antioxidants in it, which really kind of help your body. So that's, a very short, brief introduction. Now, this is what a healthy plate would look like. What is in here? If you see, there is like colors for more than half of the plate, 2/3 or more of the plate. More than half of the plate is full of colors, right? So, say if you have this in your picture, I'm curious to know how would your breakfast plate change? Would it remain the same? Is there something that's coming on your mind depending on your usual life patterns? What do you think you might add or subtract? What are some thoughts that's coming up?
I'm just trying to think of, besides like different color like peppers. I don't know, and there's different color tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
What do you usually say? Today was a different day. Probably you had to come here. What would your usual morning breakfast would be? I know this is a dinner plate. I know, kind of transposing it to a breakfast. What might?
I mean, I might have time to do a protein shake.
It would probably be half grapefruit, Ezekiel toast with almond butter, a coffee with the protein in there.
To add the
The
protein.
mushroom coffee with the protein.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Strawberries, blueberries.
Yeah, yum. With your steel cut oats.
That would
Oh.
be like a protein shake with like blueberries, strawberries, bananas, kale. I put some turmeric and protein powder, and there's another cream powder that I use. I can't think of
Matcha too. Matcha is delicious. It's not. It's basically tasteless in some way, but okay. So there are some thoughts coming in there on how to make it colorful.
Where's the protein in that?
Protein is
It
this
says
one.
beans. Oh, chicken, okay, so that's not breakfast.
It's not, but people do have.
Dairy is one of the highest protein things to put into breakfast, you know? A lot of your cereals are not high in protein.
They are not. You're right. So getting protein in your morning breakfast is something there has to be intention around it. So adding protein powder to your oatmeal, or even kind of sprinkling some chia seeds, which does have protein. Hemp also a little bit of protein. So kind of making some intentions in the morning to see how do you include protein, because protein is also necessary to kind of help your inflammation and, you know, your everything that your body is doing to take care of yourself.
My
So
breakfast would change because I have oatmeal, and then I add a little bit of protein powder. Then I add either some walnuts or some pecans, and then I either add some fresh blueberries or something like that, or the golden raisins. But I make it up for 7 days. Each day has a jar. So then I just shake the jar because I don't like overnight oats. So then that morning I put it in the bowl, add a little water, microwave it while I finish that coffee. I switched and paid for higher flavored coffee, and then I cut out all my cream. So I
You
use
get a
vanilla
nice flavor.
macadamia nut,
Hmm.
and it's actually not a flavoring of vanilla.
That's a
It's the real vanilla bean. It's ground with the beans.
that's a neat idea. So you get prepared with breakfast like at the end of the week and have like Sunday.
Every Sunday, the
Okay.
meals are prepared for lunch and breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Nice, good.
Only
It's a
because
process.
I eat too much of the junk food on the way.
So having food ready helps you have that intention set.
And I'm doing better.
Mhm.
Because I really tried to cut it out.
Absolutely. Your body kind of really tells you, hey, thank you for feeding me.
Yeah.
Years ago, before I retired. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do overnight oats that makes a week's worth at a time. And so they're in the refrigerator and all I have to do is warm them in the
Yeah.
microwave. Otherwise, I would never fix steel cut oats because I'm not spending 30
Yeah, it
minutes
takes a lot of time.
and trying to clean up the mess on the stove.
That is
and
true.
over.
Yeah, some ideas. I have a little boy, so I make egg muffins over the weekend and make a big batch so that that's there, and alternate between, you know, egg muffins with some sweet potato on the side, so that, and some fruit for him, some smoothie, and then I'll have steel cut oats or, you know, normal rolled oats, kind of change it so that don't get tired of the same taste again and again. But the intention is to make sure that you have some color, some protein, some starch in each of your meals. So I asked about breakfast because that's the meal that you just had. So I thought, you know, that'll be easier for you to recall rather than asking you, okay, what did you have for your dinner yesterday night? Okay. So that's a visual for us to see. And then coming to the colors, I would love to draw your attention to the handout that's available. So this is a neat little handout to kind of see, you know, the different colors that nature has provided us in the form of fruits and vegetables. And the food with each of those, for example, for red, tomatoes are really red, orange, of course, you know, sweet potato, oranges, pumpkins. So just gives you an idea of the variety. And the third column gives you some life-giving antioxidants, right, that are present in these foods. So it's a neat little thing for you to see, you know, what's available in the nature that you can incorporate. Even the legumes and whole grains do have fiber, and fiber plays a key role in making sure that any of those cancer-causing particles or anything, toxins that are inside our body kind of gets removed through our poop every day, right? So incorporating legumes and all of these have fiber too, so it really helps in removing any of those carcinogenic factors that happen in your body. So that's this neat little handout. If I can move ahead. So the idea is, as I mentioned before, to include lots of plants in your plate. The plants help clean up, in the sense, helps with detoxing any of the toxins, provide fiber to remove the carcinogenic materials, as well as for your gut health, helps your food kind of move through the system. And the bright color of each of the, each of the fruits and veggies, they have a lot of antioxidants. The antioxidants kind of help remove again the carcinogenic molecules that are formed in your body. So the potent pigment, the pigment is the color of the fruits and veggies that you include in your plate, does provide you a lot of vitamin C. And again, it's not just the oranges. There are many other vegetables and fruits that provide you vitamin C. The cauliflower, broccoli, bell peppers have lots. Kiwi has lots of vitamin, both the green and the golden color one. Now, plant focused, it can really fit to any of the dietary pattern that you have. For vegetarians who will eat eggs, it comes very naturally because they include more than, a lot of fruits and vegetables. Vegan sort of eating, everything becomes plant. Who likes fish? The idea is including plants in your plate becomes, it's not something that's made out of choice. It's something that has to become really, I would say, autopilot or natural. Even when you go and eat out, it's always possible to include plants. Even if we choose to go and eat out at McDonald's, which my boy likes at some time, and I cannot say no to it, there is a way by which, you can make your plate very intentional and include plants in your plate. Okay. So the idea is, irrespective of whatever dietary pattern you choose to have culturally or, by choice, including lot of colors in your plate is the way to help reduce the chronic inflammation in your body. Healthy fats, avocado is something that's that comes to, the forefront when we talk about healthy fats. Nuts, again, kind of help with that. The idea is to reduce the omega-6 fats, which are a lot in the vegetable oil, canola oil, what else? Canola oil, all of those, I think, artificial oils, soybean oil too. So incorporating a lot of omega-3 rich foods and kind of reducing your omega-6 will also help reduce inflammation. So the idea is abundance of plants. I usually recommend, when you go for grocery shopping, think about 3 fruits, 3 veggies, everything 3. That kind of really makes our life easy. I'll plan for 3 dinners, 3 lunches, 2 breakfasts. That kind of incorporates the variety and also helps with the simplicity part of it. So every time I go for grocery shopping, there will be a cruciferous veggie. We'll talk about it. There will be a green and then some other color. And then, I'll roast it in the oven with a lot of nice turmeric, all the herbs that is coming up in the garden. And it makes adding veggies to our meals really, really easy. And having 1 fruit for each of the meals, like 1 fruit for breakfast, 1 fruit for dinner, 1 fruit for lunch, kind of make sure that you incorporate fruit too as part of your plate. So it really doesn't take much to make sure that your plate is there to support your body. It does take some intention and some preparation a little ahead of time, maybe, so that you don't make on-the-spot decisions about, what to eat and what not to eat. And it's the thing of being prepared, and we all like to be prepared so that we know what we are putting inside our body at least, right? So that's that. Let's think about eat the rainbow, right? All the colors. What are some of your favorite fruits? Okay. What else? Yeah. Blueberries, they're really yum and blueberries.
I like watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
I like dried apricots.
Mm.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I like fruits too.
Pineapple, mango,
Absolutely.
Papaya.
Whoa.
Kiwis.
Yeah, kiwis is, that's a
Mhm.
treat.
Mm-hmm. And what are your usual go-to veggies that you incorporate in your?
I went to the store last night and got cauliflower with broccoli. I had a cauliflower with broccoli, a bag of mixed lettuce. I got avocado, and I got strawberries, papaya, kiwi,
Nice.
and some chicken breast.
Oh, absolutely. You need that too. How about what are some of your favorite vegetables?
Asparagus.
Sure. They are so easy to prep too. It's not doesn't take so much of cutting time.
I like sweet potatoes.
Yeah. What do you usually make with sweet potatoes?
Just heat them up, microwave, and then, I mean, there's very little that I like just a little bit of, well, Suzanne has, spice, and I've started putting like her, I think it's the fennel spice or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Paula.
Oh yeah, I cut it in half and I put like olive oil and or seed oil and cinnamon.
Mhm.
Wrap it in
I
foil
like
and
cinnamon
bake
and
it
nutmeg in mine.
and bake it.
Yeah.
And I put the orange sweet potatoes and the purple.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah, purple and black are really good for changers.
They are. They have a little bitty different taste too
Do
from
they
the
come in
non.
at different times? Are they year round?
Most of the time you're around.
And they're at HEB?
Yeah.
Oh, Sprouts. Okay, because I've never seen them at HEB. Oh, okay.
In HEB, it comes at certain times.
Okay.
Yeah, I think close to Thanksgiving time, you see the different varieties, but in Sprouts, they're always there. I have seen it.
We had the black ones not too long ago, at 1604.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one that I go to.
Yeah, and I put mine into a potato pocket.
Yes, I have that.
Microwave it, and then when I
It's a
take it
steamer.
out, I give it a just light squirt of olive oil
Yeah,
on the top.
yeah, that's pretty, happens very quickly, right?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah. You have some long time.
Is it ready? Is yours ready?
Yeah.
Mine-
How about,
So whether we can buy
what would
it
you
or
like to
it's
share? What are some of your favorite veggies?
fabric that's
Anything.
something inside of it
I
that's
just stick
100%
for, basic
going to
broccoli,
You see the
or
bowls
asparagus.
where you can
I
put
also like
the
sweet
bowl in
potatoes, but I
the
bake them in
microwave,
the oven
take
and
it
I
out.
just eat it straight up like that.
They are so yummy. You just can't wait for them to
Like a
kind of
butternut squash, which I'm learning is good for our
gut. And
gut, and because it has a lot of water, so it'll naturally, help the process.
right, right.
And then we always have the colored bell peppers.
Yeah, just sauteing it or kind of really kind of helps it. It brings in the flavor. I think when the raw over the sauteed ones obviously have more flavor rather than the raw one. Of course, it's a preference on what you want and not want. Moving further, the second handout I have here is making food choices by season. Food choices by season. The reason why, there are two things. One, when you choose, it's the food choices by season handout. There are two things. One, when a certain vegetable or fruit is in season, it's priced a little less. So, it's easy on your pocket. Second, when they are in season, there are going to be more phytonutrients like the micronutrients and the antioxidants that are really good for your body. So, it doesn't mean that you don't have to always shop by season, but it's a neat little thing for you to put it in your mind when you go to look for. And I think HEB has that neat little plaque, I think, like they say best in season now, which really helps. And if you can see, it's always on sale because there is a bulk of it coming and it kind of gets really easy. So that's another tidbit there for being a little intentional and to allow your body to get a little bit more from whatever veggies and fruits you're having. Moving ahead. So it's all about making the choice, right? Just from all the discussions that we had just a few minutes before, it's all about making your intention or your commitment. starting very slow and then adding as you gain confidence. There is a starting point for everyone, right? We are never perfect. It's always about progress. It's always about being 1% better than the previous day. So start slow and add as you gain confidence. You can start with including 1 veggie and 1 fruit with each meal, and then slowly kind of build it up as you gain, confidence, as you gain more confidence over cooking skills, over being intentional on grocery shopping the week before, or whatever suits your daily routine. So being intentional and making sure to try out maybe at least 1 meatless Monday. Have you ever tried out to have 1 meatless Monday? And if so, would you love to share your experience?
I got a recipe from NPR that was from the wartime when they were trying to do meatless Mondays to conserve food. And it is eggplant parmesan. It is not fried. It is eggplant baked and then sliced and put in a pie plate casserole with cheese and canned tomato sauce and a little bit of panko on top. It's delicious. Both of us were non-eggplant eaters. We didn't touch it. Well, we love that.
Yeah.
And we eat it as an entree.
Yeah, you can.
Filling with the
A
cheese.
texture.
Yeah.
It's like a texture thing for me.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it can have like that little tart, like, I don't know, that.
The eggplant. Yeah. It's a taste that you develop maybe.
With the tomato and the mozzarella cheese, the tart
You can't
kind of
tell.
is very.
Oh, okay.
The tomato sauce.
What would you like to share about your?
I just leave the meat out of the casserole. Just leave the meat out of something
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that I've still got my protein.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So does mac and cheese count?
I don't put cheese on like when she's talking about,
Okay.
because it's hard to get a non-processed cheese.
You had to be intentional about getting your cheese, but once in a while it doesn't matter, because you have to make sure that you get the pleasure out of the food that you eat. So once in a while having, yeah, that's true. But if you're intentional about that, I heard Parmesan is what you added to
I
your.
think it does have Parmesan.
Yeah,
yes.
Parmesan is
Well,
one of
it's
those which
mozzarella
are.
cheese, fresh mozzarella.
That's
Yeah,
also
it's
good. Yeah. What ideas else do you have about meatless Mondays?
I mean, I probably could do, like, it still requires cheese, like grilled cheese or something like that, but other
Mm-hmm.
than that.
Yeah, lentils and legumes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, little trick. They cook really, really fast, and I don't know if you have. My house runs on Instant Pot, because with kids' activities and all of that, they also come together, I think, in slow cookers if you have slow cookers. But the brown lentils, you really don't have to soak it. You can just put in water or broth, or add all the veggies that you want. They are a good source of protein and lot of fiber, which means it's going to clean up everything that's not needed in your body, and you're going to have a good nice poop the next morning to kind of get it all out. But
Yeah, it's very important.
yeah, it's very, very important, honestly. Tofu, I don't know, tofu,
Texture.
not touched it. Okay, that's something.
You have to know how to do it.
Yeah, that's true. But it's
Air fry.
just toast it in the oven at the bottom with some olive oil and some,
Give it a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a chance.
Sometimes you
Experiment.
don't have a choice.
I never.
No, okay. I think it's about the taste, right? Or is it about the texture or anything like that?
Either the taste, to me, it's flavorless, and the
Ah,
texture.
okay.
And to me, it doesn't have to be a Monday. If I just don't want meat, I just have a bowl of lentils or a bowl of beans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'll do mushrooms or something like that.
Mushroom has an umami taste, but yeah.
I love
I don't know. Tempeh is another thing that I started experimenting, but it's a taste that you acquire over a period of time for certain. It's not something that I will say yes in the first time, but it is fermented soy, which means it's going to be much more flavorful when you add all the, even I think Suzanne's spices. Once you kind of put it on it and put some drizzle of olive oil and put it inside the oven, it's much more crunchier. It's not like that soggy Yeah, it's not that soggy thing like you see in the tofu. So that's something. But the idea is, yeah.
Do you make it?
No, I haven't yet. My son did it in the air fryer, and it's like a sponge. Whatever you marinate it in, it soaks up the flavor. Like I've gotten it at Chinese food restaurants instead of the chicken. I'll get the tofu, but I have to have it pan seared,
Hmm.
and then it soaks up all the flavor.
Yeah.
It's just a good alternative for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a vegetarian, but I have some issues with my stomach that I have to be careful.
So yeah, it's an acquired taste, and you're right. It kind of takes up all the flavors. It's very quick at absorbing all the flavors, but it's definitely something that happens over a period of time that you start appreciating the taste and the texture. But the idea is to kind of, aim at least one fruit in each of your meals, one from the berry family, and I hear all of us likes, at least one berry, right? So that's something. Frozen is as good as fresh. So in your smoothies, of course, it's very easy. Veggies, right? Start with at least one and kind of move to 3+ veggies in your, that's where the 3 thing kind of really helps. When I go out for grocery shopping, it helps to keep it simple as well as add in the variety. Looking for local farmers market are really good. There are a couple of them that I go to. It really helps me because I don't have to go through all the aisles in HEB to pick whatever I want. It's all in a basket. I just take it home and then kind of, make my week out of it. So looking for local seasonal options is something that's recommended. Reducing added sugars. Always look for added sugars in your label and look at healthy fats. So these are the components that will help our body manage the inflammation and kind of bring it down to a nice little place. Making sure you incorporate nut butter, seeds, olives, chia flax, hemp seeds, extra virgin olive oil, fatty fish like salmon. They all help in incorporating the healthy fats.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay, so back to that, just so we all know, the cruciferous.
Yeah, I'm going to get onto it.
Yeah, what are those?
Cruciferous vegetables, other pillars. Oh,
In that
where did it go away? Okay. Did I have it somewhere? There they are.
yeah.
I had it. I'm sorry. It kind of, I think in that mixie match, it kind of went somewhere. Pardon me. But cruciferous vegetables are the ones that are a little bitter, right? Like the cabbages. But when you saute it, when you heat it and kind of put in the spices, the bitterness comes down a bit. So cruciferous veggies are the ones, they are very rich in vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. They have sulfur compounds, which actually gives that, I don't know, there is that smell that comes when you, right? So those are those sulfur compounds, but they really help in many types of cancer prevention. They help in removing the carcinogens. So if we put a little effort on including at least one cruciferous veggie, broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable, cauliflower is a cruciferous vegetable, Brussels sprout, what else? Cabbage, yeah.
What are those?
This is like some sort of a lettuce. It's a picture. I got it from, I think, one of the Brazilian sites. I don't know.
And then other things.
This is cauliflower, yellow cauliflower.
cauliflower?
Yeah, it's a cauliflower.
Oh. Oh.
It doesn't grow in my backyard, but when I was doing the presentation, these look really pretty, and they came up with cruciferous vegetables. But the idea is include at least one cruciferous vegetable every day. Cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprout. They don't taste good when they are raw. I can. They are greens. I don't know if you would classify under cruciferous. Usually it's Brussels sprout, cabbage, the red cabbage, the green cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprout, broccoli. Exactly. Kale doesn't smell bad. It has that. Yeah, with the gassy ones, when you add some, what's that? Some garlic to it, some ginger to it, that adds to the flavor and will also make it much more palatable. So, yeah, gives it a little extra zing to the Brussels sprout. Brussels sprouts are pretty easy to prep. You just have to kind of cut it into half. You can even saute it or roast it whole. Yeah, so that's the cruciferous veggies. What are your favorites? I heard they stink. They don't. Broccoli, maybe.
Yeah, I can't eat them.
Oh, you're yeah.
I can't eat them anymore. Crohn's and IBS. And
It takes a little. Yeah, I understand.
I like them.
Yeah,
I like them all.
but maybe
don't
in
like me.
smaller portions. No,
Not right now.
not right
I'm
now.
under GI doctor's
After a certain time, maybe. Right.
guidance, and those
Yeah.
are absolutely out.
Cool.
Cauliflower rice is a good one on the side.
Rice, of course.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower rice, if it satisfies you. I like actual rice rather than cauliflower rice. For me, cauliflower rice will get into my veggies bucket if I can bucket it. I like my normal rice. Pardon me?
Takes the place of my white potato.
You can.
So yeah, I think they even have cauliflower, like potatoes, like if you,
Yeah.
Like
they do
a-
eat cauliflower
Yeah.
salad.
and then like even like
Yeah,
chicken
sure. Go
crust,
ahead.
I know we're kind of off, but she mentioned rice. Is jasmine, so I'm supposed to be eating tomorrow, white rice.
Mhm.
Is jasmine rice the same as white rice?
They are.
So that's okay.
That's okay. It's just the way jasmine rice, basmati rice.
Yeah.
Those are all like basmati white rice and just the white rice. They are all same.
Okay, because I
Thing.
love the jasmine rice.
Yeah.
And that's a little more appealing than just plain white.
Absolutely, it's all white rice.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
You might try that.
What
Someone
is-
introduced basmati rice.
Oh, I've had that too, yeah.
It's very easy to cook too. Gets done in like 5 minutes
Yeah.
once the water is boiled.
GI test, and I'm restricted, and I was like, can I have my jasmine rice?
And they are yummy. They are soothing to your tummy too. So
Thank you.
thank you for asking that question and redirecting my attention back to the cruciferous. The other pillars are managing your stress, sleeping for recovery and rest, and physical activity for 30 minutes. At least any physical activity that you enjoy doing, from kickboxing to yoga to running to walking, everything kind of counts and at some point in time. Thank you so much for your time. I am open for any questions. There is one more handout that I wanted to draw your attention to. It's that anti-inflammatory food pyramid. I think I really wanted to draw your attention to the top pyramid. I do love my sweets. I do love, a small piece of cake. That doesn't mean that, I cannot include it. Being intentional, if you have your plate and if you have your plate fully colorful, have had the protein, etc., that small piece of cake is something that I really enjoy, and it definitely contributes to the pleasure. Of course, if you have a big cake, then I would question, okay, did you have 2 portions of veggies and then are you having the cake? Just kidding. But it's kind of, I really love the pyramid because it puts into context the real life that happens. When I go to a birthday party, I do love to, taste the cake. Doesn't mean that, I'm causing major harm to my body. So thank you very much for your time. I am open for any questions that you may
I
have.
do have a question. Like spirulina powder, does it have any like good type of nutrients?
Yes, spirulina does have a lot of antioxidants.
Okay.
It's that green powder,
Yes,
right?
because I put that. I also do that along with the ginger.
Mhm.
As well.
Yeah,
Okay.
ginger and spirulina. Spirulina definitely is a powder.
Okay.
It has a lot of antioxidants.
use that, but mine has the spirulina, the kale, the moringa,
Okay,
moringa,
Oh, moringa. Okay.
moringa
Mhm.
and kale and the spirulina. I think mine has.
Okay.
Yeah, spirulina is good. Yeah, thank you very much for your time. I'm around here and would love for any questions that you have. Thank you.